I told myself I wouldn't do it. I told myself I wouldn't come back. Hello and welcome back to Batman Arkham Origins. You may remember how the last video ended. Nope, didn't mean to do that, okay. Oh! What? No! Okay. Oh, no! Not the best way to end the game. I'll be honest, the time between me cancelling the rest of the videos for this game and then deciding not to was surprisingly short. Bezzah's elsewhere, actually having fun. For simplicity's sake, I'm just going to carry on from where I left off, which means restarting the game from the beginning. We're left off after the Joker won hide and seek by pretending to be another player, and clearly being a sore loser to find that he has changed the rules of the game. If you are found, you can tell the other players to kill the Seeker. After knocking out all but one of the Joker's thugs, one of them will surrender, regardless of whether or not he knows the rest of his friends have been subdued. As he is a nice guy, he will inform us that the Joker has gone to the Psionic steel mill.
He said something about the steel mill.
Probably a very silly idea in my opinion, but if you're a known criminal, you put your name on a building you own. Before we head off, however, Batman is distracted momentarily by Twitter.com.
There's nothing here.
Thankfully, one of the assassins, Shiva, manages to stop us from creating an account by attempting to roundhouse kick my abdomen. How kind.
Shiva. Trying to collect the bounty.
That's just a consolation prize.
Now let me tell you about this mission, because obviously WB Games Montreal spared no expense of the writing and design. First, we go to a place, beat up some women, and then play cut the rope with a police officer. Then we follow a trail that leads us to another police officer who appears to be taking a nap. He even has a blanket over him so he doesn't get cold. Take note kids, if you want to attack somebody from behind, don't use the exact same move you used not even 10 minutes ago. Shiva then informs us to go to another place so that we can fight. So what must we do now? Now hold on. It took us 40 seconds to get here, in the Batwing, and somehow Shiva not only got here before us, but managed to get into the lift, go upstairs, and back down again, in time for a dramatic entrance.
Why did you come?
Now we see Batman as the true alpha male he is. Not only does he beat up women, but he also interrupts them.
Burn your place or die! The test has ended, and with it, your life!
Funny, I was told the exact same thing after my English GCSE. After defeating Shiva, she simply leaves while setting up a game that most of the fanbase has already played. Seems we have enough sore loser at hide and seek. I originally wasn't going to show this footage, but let me show you the riveting gameplay offered to us from WB Games Montreal for the Penguin Most Wanted. I'm out of charges. I cannot progress. Oh my god. Finally, we got there again. Woo! What happened if I restarted the game? Would it just give me all my charges back? Oh yeah. Woo! We're finally done! Way!
Well, you
Woo!
did
So
most of it,
fun!
but I helped, right?
This mission's bad.
And if you're wondering what the outcome is from this side mission,
You get nothing!
we now head off to the steel mill, where we simply collect the codes to the building, yet we still have to decipher them. Whilst we're here, we also discover that Roman Sionis has a pacemaker fitted. It doesn't have any purpose to the story, except for one line of dialogue later on. We also find out that Batman is scared of shadows.
What was that?
Heading further into the mill, we fight some more enemies and then open up the secret door to Sionis' drug lab. I wonder what Jim Gordon would think if he caught such an upstanding citizen with a facility like this.
Who did this?
We finally track down Sionis and can see 3 dossiers with villains who would be much more exciting than a certain other 3. After threatening Sionis, we are attacked by Copperhead, who poisons us, and Sionis manages to escape. We are then forced to walk back through the lab whilst Alfred produces a cure for Batman. During this long journey, we are shown hallucinations to be much more appropriate for Scarecrow.
What would your father say if he could see you now, throwing away your family's hard-earned fortune on these frivolous nightly escapades?
Seriously, wouldn't this make more sense to be a result of fear toxin rather than just poison?
You could have saved me if you'd only come sooner. What were you doing?
Maybe if your audio didn't loop, I'd have saved you. Copperhead then attacks us again and brings a few friends along. I do like a challenge. So my tactic here is to just jump over and then attack. Oh, it's actually her. During the battle, Alfred very rudely interrupts the fight with a drug that activates alpha male grind set. After locking Copperhead away, she tells us that the Joker has called a meeting with all the remaining assassins, but will only say where once Batman sets her free. Batman decides he would rather search the entire city himself than let a woman loose on the streets, so he refuses. Batman then realises that since Electrocutioner will also be present at the meeting, he has the means to track the energy readings that his gloves produce. Before we can leave, Batman makes sure to destroy some of the legitimate product that Black Mask is producing in his lab, and ask Alfred to track down all other instances of the product. Honestly, I had completely forgotten to write this into the script before I made this video, and only remembered once I saw the Batman Arkham video's video on this side mission. So shout out to them, I guess, I'm sure they could use the support. The Black Mask Most Wanted is an absolute masterclass of game design, with each part of the side mission more progressive than the last. I mean, how fun is... Oh, come on, WB! You're gonna stop us from progressing through the mission? Why would you even give it to us now if we can't access it until later? Well, we carry on with the main story, I guess. Oh, are you serious? I can't do that yet. Oh, okay. Whatever. On we go about our journey again to get a decent signal in Gotham to track Electrocutioner. However, on the way, we are told by Alfred of an SOS signal nearby.
Sorry to intrude, sir, but I'm receiving reports about a disturbance nearby.
Being the upstanding citizen that we are, we go to investigate. Upon arrival, we are ambushed by a GCPD helicopter, of which the pilot suddenly loses control. We reach the crash site of the helicopter to find that there are no survivors, but even worse, we have another GCPD officer sleeping on the job. Where do they hire these people? After searching around the area and reconstructing the crime scene, we are led to a nearby GCPD sniper who seems to have a severe allergy to laser pointers. Following the trajectory of the laser, we discover that Deadshot, aka Will Smith, was behind the attack, and he invites us to duel in the bank. Oh no. Once we return to the bank, we can find that Deadshot has organised a laser disco inside. However, as one participant does not seem to be having a good time, Batman decides to ruin the fun for everyone. Why the hell didn't they put Deadshot in the main story? At least he had a better boss battle than Red Light Green Light that we got in City, but come on WB Montreal, he would have been so much better than Electrocutioner. So, if we don't have any more interruptions... Oh no, we don't. We can finally find where the Joker has organised the meeting, which just happens to be the Grand Royal Hotel. Buckle yourselves in, because you're in for a treat for level design. I could very easily skip through the most exciting parts of this part of the game, and I may consider it, because every corridor is the exact same. However, before we get there, we need to find where the Joker is. Oh look, a security room. How convenient. We find a camera, perfectly showcasing all 3 remaining assassins for us to fight. I always wondered here how they didn't realise that Black Mask has dyed his hair green. He's not even wearing the back of his mask.
Just who the hell are you?
The fuck you say to me, you little shit?
Sorry, both remaining assassins for us to fight. Joker rudely asks the assassins to leave the dinner party, and Firefly is certainly more than happy to leave.
Yo, this fruitcake shit, I'm out.
Seeing as both Deadshot and Shiva are both visible on the monitors on this wall, it's very obvious that they've been using virtual backgrounds for all of their Zoom calls, whilst they're elsewhere. They probably missed Joker's instructions to attack Batman during the main story. Bane, however, is displeased by the host and insists on staying. How rude. Back with Batman, he politely asks Electrocution's consent to borrow his electric shock gloves for a while. He doesn't have them in any of the other games, so I can only assume he gave them back. Walking through every corridor of this map is the pinnacle of entertainment for us. I propose that WB Games Montreal scrap Gotham Knights and purely focus on a corridor walking simulator. Give the fans what they want. Oh look, something mildly interesting. I was getting overloaded with excitement from the corridors that decided to have a break for a bit. In this room, the Joker has sadly redecorated without the establishment's consent. We have to save some of Joker's men by solving a puzzle, and another man here by playing Simon Says twice. Not once, not 3 times, twice. Think about that for a moment. As we leave this section to finally get back for more corridors, we come across a bomb that has been set up to detonate on New Year's Day. Horrified that this contraption could entertain the Joker, Batman decides to disarm it. However, he only manages to shorten the detonation time. Wow, that caused a lot less damage than I would have expected. We are dropped into the worst camera angle imaginable, with references to a candidate for much better villains for this game. Don't let me down, Gotham Knights. Once we've dealt with the Joker's crew, we are then attacked by the Latino community. Heading through even more corridors, we can see that someone has dropped a bunch of cards on the floor and refused to pick them up. Even stranger, these cards show premonitions of the future as they have Arkham Asylum and city renders of the Joker. Batman decides he wants to go for a swim and is disgusted when he sees people running in the swimming pool area. Once Bane's men discover that I'm here, they will arm their proximity mines on the gargoyle. Wait, gargoyles? Why are there gargoyles in a swimming pool area? Batman then enters the elevator and finally decides to participate in hide and seek. Wow, looks like Bane's a dirty cheater. Bane very firmly extends an invitation to Joker's dinner party and doesn't seem to take no for an answer.
Nice of you to drop in.
He gives the two of us a minute to get acquainted, whilst Joker decides he doesn't want to redecorate the hotel anymore, he wants to decorate the entire city. Batman gets a little bit angry once he realises the Joker did not get the proper planning permissions from the city council, but thankfully Bane comes in to calm him down. We decide to go downstairs to cool off for a bit, and Bane takes that a bit seriously by taking his jacket off. Damn, Bane at it with the water-cooled Bane.
So you're building a brand new
Bane.
and it's time to choose a cooler for your
Bane.
There are so many options out there.
The two of us realise that we're still too hot in this room, so we decide to go outside. Now, this is a boss fight I wasn't looking forward to, but I honestly don't know what I was getting so worried about.
Will you confront or avoid? This rooftop's getting too hot.
Come on, you've taken your jacket off, you've gone outside, it's snowing in the middle of winter, how are you still too hot?
You got off easy.
We save the Joker from a high fall, and he shows his gratitude by sacrificing 2 of his men, and then he tries to sacrifice himself. However, the police arrive before the ritual can be completed.
Don't move, freak! I think he's talking to you.
Well, yeah, wasn't that obvious? They even reused this line from Arkham Asylum.
I think he's talking about you, Bats!
We head off to Blackgate for the final segment of this game, and also finally get to the origins of Joker? Obviously, this whole segment is one big reference to Killing Joke, which is cool and all, but why do we have Joker's origin before Batman's? Oh look, Harley's in this game. Cool. I guess. Now we return to the Batcave for the 3rd time in this game, to finally get into Batman's Arkham Origins. Not like we've seen that before. Why is that child so disproportionate? Batman gets a little bit angry with Alfred for calling the feds and proceeds to try and leave when he discovers that one of Bane's men has overdosed on Jesse Pinkman's bad meth. Determined to find Aaron Paul and bring him back to Commissioner Gordon, he sets off, but Alfred tries to stop him. Batman gives a whole speech of what it means to be Batman and takes off anyway. We take a detour on the way back to the GCPD to return to the last Black Mask drug stashes to take care of that, because it was so important that we can only deal with Sionis during this part of the game. Upon destroying the last drug stash, mask polish, Sionis telepathically invites us to church, which is very silly, because Christmas 2013, the year of this game's release, was a Wednesday.
I suppose it's easier to park on a Wednesday.
Obviously, we, the player, do not hear Sionis' invitation, because we are not telepathic. Rather discriminatory from WB Montreal, I think. Once Batman arrives at the church, he is horrified to see sinners breaking the most popular of the 10 Commandments. Thou shalt not loiter outside of churches holding deadly blades. Batman extends Jesus' forgiveness through his fists and heads inside. If what happened outside of the church wasn't bad enough, just wait until you see what happens inside. A group of atheists breaking yet another commandment. Thou shalt not wander a church holding semi-automatic weapons. Batman decides he does not hold enough power to forgive these men and sends them to Jesus himself. We destroy the container of Black Mask's personal holy water, and he comes in to witness this at the wrong time, whilst also showing off his special top brand non-collision shotgun. However, he failed to remember that Remesanis' main weakness is full damage. It's true, look it up. Right then, are we done with side missions? Please? Okay, I think we're good. We head back to GCPD and enter through the way we left last time, so we can basically skip the entire interior of the building, which is a real shame. I was so invigorated last time, I wish I could experience it again. Oh wait, I did. 3 times! We find the victim of Jessa Ponkman and find out that the drug he took causes severe temporary body deformation and heavily increases strength. Not sure there'd be much to improve on with me. We discover the drug is named and that the drug can negatively affect the user's memory over prolonged use. Coincidentally, the tracker that we left on Bane's Venom pack, you know, something he would definitely not take off for any reason whatsoever, is activated at this exact moment. With this in mind, we leave to go and find Bane's— Oh, come on!
Could you not be yourself? For 5 minutes!
We go to a place, we beat up people, we leave, we go somewhere else, we beat up people and leave, we go to another place, beat up some people, one of them's called Bird, and leave.
Invigorating!
Right, that's done, it's all done, I can focus on the main story now, no more side missions.
Oh, I have a bad feeling about this.
We finally make our way to Bane's hideout, where we can see a lot of medical equipment laid around. Presumably where Bane was experimenting on the Venom. Eventually we find the tracker again, and this happens.
This video you didn't have another axe, didn't you?
Terrified over the revelation that Bane knows who Batman is, he rushes out of the hideout to go back to Wayne Manor.
Suspect is airborne in a jetpack, armed with a flamethrower.
Why are we— oh wait, never mind, it's part of the story.
You had me worried for a second.
Man, we need to hack into Firefly's communications. However, will we find— oh, it's that one there, it's marked for us.
Well, that was easy.
Firefly is currently attacking the bridge at this moment. which is honestly one of the best parts of this game, and dare I say the entire saga. No joke, this section is so atmospheric, especially with Firefly's theme playing, which is the longest theme in the entire franchise and the second longest general piece of music. I don't think remnants from Arkham Knight is attributed to any specific character, so I won't count that as a theme. Heading towards the bridge, we can see Firefly gliding past and scorching the bridge using his flamethrower. I sincerely hope that the Batgirl film can even come close to having a Firefly similar to this game, and not whatever Arrow put out way back when. We distract Firefly with the Batwing to lure him away from the bridge so that we can approach safely. Once inside, we catch up with Walter White for a quick chat. Whilst we're here, we can also catch a glimpse at another reference for better villains for this game. Not you, Firefly, you're perfect. Normally I would make fun of this segment of the game with the level design and all, but with the atmosphere and set piece in general, it's really hard not to enjoy this a bit. We find ourselves in what appears to be a large boiler room with several armed men and a bomb. Must be the maintenance guys. Taking down N-1 of the men will cause the last to surrender, and he informs us that the maintenance is taking place above the room we're currently in and at either end of the bridge. Unfortunately, he falls unconscious soon after. Now, what codes would someone like Firefly use to protect the bombs from being disarmed? Okay, Firefly's an absolute moron. We head upstairs in an elevator, something we are recommended to do in the event of a fire, and find Brandon and some other random cop. Upon freeing Brandon, he attempts to thank us with a friendly fist bump, but Batman reacts poorly. We head further up to find more maintenance guys in a room with hostages trapped in a tram car. Wait, what? Unfortunately, our path to the next bomb is blocked by a large fire door, so we politely ask Jimbo for access, but he declines. Annoyingly, we have to go to a different bomb instead, which should lie just beyond this wall. I mean, it would probably be helpful if we had some sort of device that could project a long sturdy rope onto a surface, providing us the ability to climb back up again. No? Oh well. The third room is some sort of fighting ring, for some reason, with electric fences. For some reason. Now we head the way back from whence we came, with the fire door access codes courtesy of Alfred, although the police are already making their breach onto the final bomb. Scaling the bridge, we see the GCPD helicopter pilot suspiciously lose control of the vehicle for no reason. Must have lied on the resume. After we reach the main bridge, we attempt to cause as much attention to ourselves as possible, hoping the Firefly won't set off the bombs immediately. Oh, he doesn't? That's lucky. Now, I have praised everything about this segment of the game so far, and for good reason, and I don't want to stop here, but it's so repetitive. So rather than do something that pains me, I'll instead just show a time lapse of the whole boss.
It's lasagna, not shish kebab.
At least we get a couple of quick time events at the end. Must be a Monday. Batman and Gordon have a sort of heart-to-heart over the mistakes they both made during the bridge battle, and then Batman leaves with a polite goodbye. With the threat of Bane still looming over Batman, he heads back to the Batcave to find that Bane has already paid a visit and leaves pretty much everything intact. We fix the Batcomputer by hitting Alt F4 and find Alfred sleeping on the job. Furious at his employee for taking a break, Batman rushes to him only to get there too late. Determined to fire Alfred to his face, only to remove the unnecessary paperwork, he shocks Alfred's heart beating again. During this event, we are informed that the Joker has escaped custody in Blackgate, what a surprise, and is leading riots. Alfred gives us a quick pep talk, only to distract from his contract being terminated, and Batman leaves to save the day. We enter Blackgate in the same cinematic as the beginning of the game. I would call this a mirror to the opening, but we both know that would be a lie. We enter Blackgate through the sewer system and eventually make our way into an electrified water outlet. We follow through a body of water using our glue grenade and eventually make our way to the maintenance room. Hey Joker, could you send down an elevator for me? Okay, thanks. The next and final Predator room of this game is a rather tricky one, so let's see how that went. After freeing Harleen, she tells us that the Joker's gone to the Panopticon. The next 3 rooms are more or less just enemy encounters, although we do see a familiar face in between. Ah, what high hopes we had for your return in Arkham Knight. What a shame. We finally catch up with Joker in the second execution room in Blackgate, just in case you want a bit of variety, where he has taken Warden Joseph hostage. Joseph, you had plenty of opportunities to do something right here. Joker does not have the blade to you. Did the funny Detroit man not teach you anything? These guys aren't even armed. Bane arrives and may have forgotten his mask for some reason. Joker tells us that one of us 3 are going to have to die. Either Batman will kill Bane, Bane will kill Batman, or Joker will die from the electric chair that Bane's heart rate is charging. I've got a solution. However, this would be a fitting end to the game, and WB Montreal couldn't have that, so they came directly to my house to force me to finish the game. Honestly, it's more believable than WB Montreal hiring a marketing team. We fight Bane once more, in the exact same way as the previous battle, however this time, there are more enemies for me to jump over.
Where are they? I don't see them!
After a very underwhelming reference to a very overrated storyline... Okay, I'm not dead yet.
Hey Adam, you go. Oh, he's dead. Oh fuck, there's blood everywhere. I guess I gotta take over now, huh? Okay, here goes. After Bane steps on a crack and breaks Batman's back, Jim Gordon arrives without knocking. Rude! And saves Joseph from Joker's unarmed and harmless bystanders. Once he tries to free Joker from the chair, Joker attacks him and Joseph, and traps Gordon, but to compensate, the Joker gives him a funny hat. Batman simply decides to quit being a pussy and fixes his back, once he suddenly remembers that he hasn't caught up on the new episode of Scrubs yet, and thinks about how much easier the boss fights were earlier in the game. Batman then decides to use the taser he keeps in his man bag to catch Bane off guard, and figures he could temporarily kill Bane and unkill him later on, because that's how the human body works. For Bane Part 2, we have permanent shock glove usage, because that wouldn't have been helpful at any other point in this game. However, we still need to return to the age-old strategy of dodge and weave movement. Mosner would be very proud. Bless up, inshallah. Batman kills Bane, and yes, Bane does technically die, so Batman's broken his one rule. It doesn't really matter if he's brought back. No backsies, no takebacks, plus ratio said very fast. Wait, shit, that's... It says said very fast in the script. I didn't mean to read it out. Joker then breaks the rules of his own game. Who would have seen that one coming? And attempts to shoot Joseph. Fortunately, Gordon activates bullet time first. Joker leaves and Jim Gordon seems preoccupied with the only thing that matters to him.
He's got my gun!
Don't worry, Jim, we'll get you a new one.
Our help? You're the so-called vigilante. Or is one kill enough for you tonight?
Gordon, what the fuck are you on about? Batman was not about to let himself die, and the only other option there was to kill Joker, but you have to ruin things by getting in the way, so of course I was going to kill Bane, you fucking idiot. We hit Bane for a little bit until he wakes up, like my drunk uncle on Christmas. Saddened by the loss of his chest-mounted Game Boy, Bane instead decides to inject himself with the heroin needle he found on the street outside. Kids, don't do drugs. This next section is very similar to what we see in the Mr. Freeze boss battle in Arkham City, a reference I do not yet understand. Thanks for putting this in the script, Adam. This means fuck all to me. What's up guys, Bezzah here. Today we're playing Metal Gear Batman. This section may be fairly simple in the standard game, and may be a bit difficult in New Game Plus, but in I Am the Night, it is borderline impossible.
You didn't have to cut me off. Think that I could never happen to know we were nothing. I don't even need your love, but you treat me like a stranger and I feel so low. No, you didn't have to stoop so low. Have your friends collect your records and change your number.
Batman takes his eyes off Bane to talk to Alfred, and much like when I take my eyes off the road to use my phone, Bane throws me through a fucking wall. Using the silly string that we stole from Deathstroke earlier in the game, we hang up Bane and recharge his batteries once more, causing Alzheimer's that may or may not have been brought up very briefly in the conversation earlier. We find Joseph, who has been shot by a Taliban sniper from 1,535 meters away, and has surprisingly been abandoned by Gordon. Killer Croc shows up once more, mainly since Steve Blum randomly showed up on set that day, and Gordon arrives to beat up the sniper. A lot happens here in the span of 10 seconds, and it's a lot to handle. Batman and Gordon fight a few guys, and Gordon somehow doesn't die instantly to the stun sticks, shields, knives, and an army of Jackie Chans, and actually manages to take a few down. Who the fuck is this guy? We carry on through the prison and turn into the chapel, where we find the Joker praying to Allah for some painkillers after we beat the shit out of him. Gordon arrives after witnessing the whole thing and says that anyone else would have killed him. Much like I would have if you hadn't interfered, Gordon! He attempts to arrest us, but Batman exploits his exceedingly poor peripheral vision and leaves. The game ends with a final montage of the prison, with Gordon talking to Barbara. Gordon implies he has now been promoted to the big cheese of the GCPD. Finally. Why is Deathstroke being arrested again? He was already in his cell. Bane is found by the GCPD, setting him up to be an absolute dumbass in the rest of the games, and Joker is also shown on a gurney in what actually looks a little bit like the beginning of Arkham Asylum, which is another reference I don't understand yet. And that's the game. There's no easy way to end this video, so I'll just say that we'll be carrying on the series with Cold Cold Heart for this game, and then moving on to the Arkham Knight Batgirl DLC, and then progressing throughout the rest of the games chronologically. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. This shouldn't happen again, but for now, I really should clean up Adam's body. Oh well. See you in the next one.